Welcome to Brechin City, where the turnstiles don't suffer too much in the way of wear and tear. Today's crowd bigger than last week's 512.
If you haven't been to Glebe Park before, like me, and judging by the attendances here, like most of the Scottish population, then you won't have seen the structure behind me, an impressive new stand which many clubs at a higher level would be proud of, built at a cost of £300,000 with Football Trust backing. But Brechin is a club with a current problem.
Before today, they'd lost their first 2 games of the season and conceded 10 goals. On Monday, player-manager Ian Redford resigned because of financial restrictions. He was replaced pre-kick-off by former assistant manager John Young, and the chairman gave his view on Redford's departure.
I think he found it very difficult to combine the 2 roles he had of being manager and player. As a player, he'll admit himself that he suffered by having to manage, and I think he found it very difficult to combine the 2.
He also alluded to a lack of cash backing.
There is, obviously, as you expect from a small club like this, no unlimited funds. But there is money available, and I hope very soon we'll have announcements on new players.
The most famous face at Glebe Park today, David Will, a vice president of FIFA and director of Brechin, with firm views on the argument that clubs like his can't survive.
I've never quite understood why stopping Brechin and Berwick playing is going to help Rangers and Aberdeen. I've never understood this philosophy at all. I don't think there are 2. It doesn't matter whether there are 500 clubs. As long as there are different levels for them to play at and there's a way through to the top, then I think that's fair enough.
At the moment, midfielder Mark Miller is the best on-field asset Brechin have. He helped mastermind their promotion to last season's First Division. Here, almost single-handed, he carved out the first scoring opportunity of today's game. His shot just a bit too high. The home team went closer still from a corner when Scott Kemlow's effort produced a reflex save from Neil Young. But it was Berwick who struck first, midway through the first half. Hawk held the ball up for Paul Forrester to cross, and Willie Irvin headed in his 2nd goal of the season. Six minutes later, the patient passing game that Brechin were persevering with finally paid off. Richie Vanett, a product of the club's youth team, was involved, as was Dougie Scott, at the other end of the age scale and Brechin's longest serving player. And when Graham Christie drove in the cross ball, Billy McNeil, who's been around a few clubs in Scottish football, flicked in the equaliser. But almost immediately, Brechin were behind again. Berwick sub Graham Fraser scored with his first touch. Poor marking on Alan Banks' corner, and Fraser took advantage. There's nothing like making a quick impact on the game. Referee Joe Kelly could have made an impression as well if he'd sent off Dougie Scott and Martin Neal for these fisticuffs. The chairman of FIFA's referees committee, sitting in the stand, declined to comment. In the second half, Berwick made it clear they wanted to extend their lead. Ex-Sunderland player Warren Hawke, whose goals were so important to his team last season, was foiled by Balfour. The keeper, though, looked less impressive 15 minutes later as the visiting team again found a way through the Brechin defence. Hawke's cut back, and despite some dodgy handling, Berwick just couldn't score. The rest of the game was all about Brechin pushing for an equaliser, but they couldn't turn the pressure into good chances. Christie's shot here, tipped over by Neil Young, was one of their few shots on target. 2-1 it finished, and 3 defeats to start the season.